Yo, what up, everybody? Hello, hello. If you are in line to get a hot dog or some merch or something like that, go ahead and take care of business and find your way over to a seat. We'll get started in just about a minute. I think we've already started live broadcast. Hello, everybody, the internet. Hello, everybody here. So yeah, as soon as you guys get wrapped up at the merch table and dogs, grab a seat. We'll get started in like 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Awesome. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Thank you all so much for coming out. and sharing your Friday night with us. My name is Nick, in case we have not met. Hello. I'm the proprietor of Mama Sauce, and thank you all so much for coming out. Tonight, we try to do this once a semester, and I say semester, and I speak in school speak because it's really all about celebrating our interns who come and spend a grueling couple months with us. Give it up for our interns. And every semester we have, a handful or a couple handfuls. They are a handful, and they have a handful of work to do, and they come and show up every day and do some really awesome stuff with us, and we're really grateful for them. So we like to celebrate them every semester, and this is the culmination of a whole semester of hard work for them, not just with us, but at school and wherever they are, wherever they're studying graphic design. And we have French Paper sponsoring the event tonight. They sponsor the whole internship program. And we also bring in a guest professor that comes and gives a portfolio review for the students, and then comes and gives an address to us tonight. And tonight, that is Will, who I'll tell you a little bit about here in our history of Penn. And we have just awesome stuff going on tonight. Lots of free stuff, free hot dogs. There's free pins and buttons, Mama Sauce pins and buttons. Will brought some free postcards. There's free parking too, as well. Hope you all had an okay time parking. We were a little nervous about it. It's our first time having anyone here. You are our first guests at the new Mama Sauce space. What do you guys think? We're doing a few more presses in here, and we're going to be doing all right, you know. So we should be up and running in here in a couple months, and we're, in the process of getting all the permits and all that other stuff. But we're so happy to have you here tonight. Thank you so much. So tonight, I'm going to introduce Will here in a second. He's going to just tell us about his journey. The work he does. He's an amazing illustrator, designer, art director, everything that is cool. And our history goes way, way back. We were talking about this at breakfast this morning. And he predates Mama Sauce, actually, as far as our relationship goes. Before we were Mama Sauce, we were a different print shop, of which I will not say the name. And Will trusted us early on, before we knew really what we're doing. We got to print some shirts for him and some art prints, and we go back. And I remember I just gravitated towards Will because I do if you email me, you're either going to get something back because I'm in the middle of stuff that's real short, or I'm just going to try to have fun with you and say some really weird stuff. And Will, I said some really weird stuff too, and he said some really weird stuff back. And then we just kept the banter going, and I just remember my favorite email chains ever with this man. And yeah, it was just been an awesome time knowing him for years and working with him. And I'll let his work speak for himself, and I'll let him speak for himself. And guys, help me welcome up Mr. Wilbur.
Thank you. So, can you hear me without the mic? Yeah. Is that cool? I would like to not talk, if possible. Thank you, sir. A pleasure to be here. This is going to be slightly awkward because I think I'm going to go back and forth, changing slides. But bear with me, and it should be a journey, like he said. So thankful to be here. Thanking all. Oh, wait, there's that thing. Okay, here we go. Thank you, everyone at Mama Sauce. It's been amazing. We have a great city here. Knew nothing about Orlando other than Penny Hardaway, Little Penny, Shaq, Nick Anderson, some of the prime time of the 90s basketball. But huge congrats to the interns that I met today. Excited for you. Thank you for sharing your work with me. And thank you, everyone, for letting me share my work with you. But before we dive into that, it's a big day. Where is he? Happy birthday, Joey. I'm not a fan of this, but I want to do this for Joey. We got Joey. This is Joey's moment right here. So I'll start, and I can't get a note on accent, so please chime in with some really important. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joey. All right. Well, those are going to get passed out because honestly, it's boring to hear someone talk. Just like hear someone talk, but you're going to have something sweet in front of you, so it's a little better. So I am Will Bryant. This is my studio in Portland, Oregon. I share it with my former professor, mentor, best friend, Kate Bingman-Bird. There's a giant thing of pretzel between our desks. And we've done a ton of stuff on the wall. I fill that space with all the things that I'm really into. So we've got Space Jam figurines, loads of Michael Jordan. Tons of Michael Jordan happening here. A banana dude from the fair. Great books on lettering, typography, design, all those sort of things. But identifying myself, I really hate labeling myself. So some of the things that might get thrown out there, as if a dad person might ask, "What is it that you do?" Which I get asked sometimes because I consider myself a professional goofball, but I'm also a graphic designer, illustrator, artist, set designer, educator, art director, nice guy, dude, man, husband, father, friend, bro, third Eagle Scout, and a goon. But these are some of the things I make as a quick overview. Some of the types of projects I might work on. Most of them are wacky. Most of them are fun. It's kind of a requirement that I have. If I had a rider for visiting places, it would have to be fun. Probably hot dogs involved, and I pick up games of basketball. But it covers everything. I've done underwear. How cool is that? I don't know. I think it's really cool. My name is on someone's butt and other parts. The client demanded that my name be on. I don't even want to sign my friends. Anyway, we're going to move forward. So, all these wacky things, I do have professional business cards to kind of offset that, yet there's still, I can't label myself, so I have arts in quotations. This is the preparation of grad school coming through, contemporary art, graphic design, all these things. Enthusiasm. I bank on enthusiasm. I'm here because of email threads and animated GIFs. That's what I thrive on. And then snacks. I love eating snacks. Cookie breaks, healthy things. I'm sure you eat healthy things too. That now, we'll get to that. The nerd stuff about this, we'll go over it. Get a text for it. So who am I? It's one thing for someone to sit up here and start talking about a bunch of work, but to kind of preface that, where I came from, all of my work has my personality injected into it. That's what I've done. Started grad school doing that. But I was raised in East Texas in the Pine Woods, nerding out on Michael Jordan. I'm a Mississippi State graduate, so I'm a non-threatening SEC fan. So all you Gators, don't worry about it. You might have a chance this year, I don't think. But here I am on my birthday. This is the ultimate birthday. Cool starter jacket, Rare Air, which is a beautiful, nicely printed Michael Jordan book. These glossy, full-bleed photos of his hands and him with his kids. It's amazing. This is me in a Gap sweatshirt, sitting on a vent eating Christian kisses. Give you context of it. But I lived Friday Night Lights. I played basketball, I played football, and all of these things as a grad school, undergrad. I didn't really do anything in high school other than play sports, hang out, drink too much gin soda, and not really care about school that much, which frightened my mother, who was a great teacher, and my father, who had a 99.995 GPA in biochemistry or something. But I grew up playing basketball. Side note, my wife had a figurine made this past year for Christmas. How American is that? And then I'm showing it to you in a lecture. It's so stupid. Okay, so here I am in grad school. Most of these things, all behind me. This is me sitting in our carpeted portfolio review room. All those things that I was making weren't school projects. I did all my schoolwork, did great at that. But it was me drawing in science class, in philosophy class, making these things about, this was about an experience I had in South by Southwest in spring break. There was a lot of self-initiated projects. That happened in undergrad. So outside of the curriculum, outside of the classroom, I'm hustling, making all these different things. But I also was throwing ridiculously themed dance parties. And this is where I developed a bit of a side persona. It became kind of a big deal because Starkville, Mississippi has 0 nightlife. I think Better Than Ezra played 4 times my first year I was in school. And they were at least 10 years from relevance. That's saying something. So I was throwing these parties, and they started out more like house party vibe. This one was the first sweat again, the sweat that ends all sweat. My moniker was the hooded deer. I was like really an animal collective, but then figuring out dance music. How was weird. This is a 22-foot tall skeleton made out of LEDs. I couldn't do this stuff if I went to like a cool city. I just met these random people. They brought people together. I was also making tons of posters. And I actually got to go back to Mississippi several times. So this, I came in from Boston, where I was living at the time, to do Sweat Again in 2012. I lied. I was in Philly. Anyone knows it. Okay, me as a person, I'm a dad now. Look at my 9-week-old baby. She's like a living emoji. I'm very thankful to be here with a great heart to lead. Thankfully, my wife's best friend came in. But this changes things. You know, we're gonna get serious, right? Probably not. It's amazing, all you dads out there. It's awesome. Okay, moving forward, influences. You've seen a little bit of my work. You get an idea of my personality. But then, where does that stem from? My studio mate, who I mentioned before, Kate, huge influence, mission giver for me. She has wrote a couple of books and journals. She's a wackadoodle, super smart. She also teaches, and her influence on me, then I became a teacher as well, so I teach beside her in the graphic design department at Portland State. And I love it. It's so fun and rewarding. She's had an incredible influence on my life. Moved across the country to be around. So if you don't know her work, look her up. The Talking Heads and David Bryant. Like I didn't get it, and then I got it, and it just melted my face. It was so, it's so weird, funny, sometimes dark. Basslines by Tina Wayma, it's funky. It fits my work, which also ties in to Peter's Playhouse. Huge influence. My mom let me watch this, and it's really weird. Very inappropriate jokes in that you don't get as a kid. But later, as I've rewatched, it's absolutely amazing. And you have this gambit of different art, historical influences coming together on kids' television, going to like every home in America pretty much, with really bad artists behind it. Wayne White, who has a documentary on Beauty is Embarrassing, look that up. He was doing sets and puppets, and this all started out of a DIY aesthetic. But you have, this guy definitely had a vision and sense of humor, but then the people that were involved, Mark Mothersbaugh, Devo was doing music, you got Gary Panther doing also sets and other, fleshing out all these different things, and art history coming together at once in pop culture. I like that infiltration. How do you suddenly make your way into pop culture but still do something with a little bit of edge? This movement from the late 70s, early 80s is called Memphis. It started in Italy, especially at Torre Sazza's pattern furniture. It's very like stemming from Art Deco, pop art, 1950s kitsch, but then very playful. It's a huge response into the 50s mid-century cubist, like everything's geometric, and this is all like materials that aren't last, absurd, irreverent, very playful. Another huge influence, Pushpin Studios, with Milton Glaser and Seymour Schwartz especially. Their range of illustration styles, but it's so personable and palettes are amazing. Huge fan of their work. So I didn't know, like all these things, I didn't necessarily pinpoint as I was going through undergrad. It was more later in grad school, like discovering these things, or rediscovering. And then Klaus Oldenburg, an artist that was pretty huge in the 50s and 60s, and has these great soft sculptures about American consumption. So you have the cherry spoon bridge, big hamburger. He had a store as an installation where he was making and selling these things. So you have this commerce and exchange. Some of those influences come up later in work. Okay, so why am I here? Most people don't know about the weird sculptures that I've been doing since grad school, which is only like a year and a half, 2 years ago. But fine, that's probably like the bigger thing. How do you make a living what you're doing? You want to draw wacky stuff. Bigger companies have to pay you to do that. But it all comes down to building relationships. That's how I've gotten Because not necessarily changing who I am, but being someone that people would want to be around, communicate with, have email exchanges with. That's been very important. So I've done the cover of the New York Times Magazine. Flip my mom out because it's about the education issue, and probably the only positive thing she has to say about Obama. Sorry, this is something about mom. But it ended up in the White House. There's a chance that the president saw something in that group. Pretty amazing. Blown away. So I do a lot of editorial work. There's a cover for Southwest Airlines magazine. Did a collaboration with a studio that was part of Austin, Texas for a little bit for cover of Good magazine. Different various spot illustrations. Trailblazers mascot Blaze. A really sappy illustrated love story with my wife, childhood sweethearts. That can't stay on the screen for that long. It's just too sad. I do a lot of posters, which kind of brought me with mama sauce. Bands to art lectures, different promotional programs. You know, T-shirts. That was a big thing I did early on. So this was, so I was in that studio in Austin, and probably 5 months after graduating undergrad, moved across the country, well, got married, moved across the country, not across, down to Texas, hanging out with, it's almost like a fraternity for designers and photographers. Very broy. It was very different than what I had experienced in undergrad. But I'm around these people that had a huge influence and knew how to do a contract and invoice and had taste. It was great. Thought it was a prank email from those terrorists, but it was an actual email from someone that worked at Nike that wanted me to do something like Nike. Between Jordan and Nike, like that's the enemy. And it was crazy. And some of these came like after I sent off files. They could sample like a year later. There's glitter in it. It's for women, so it's acceptable. I was like, glitter on it, but into it. So I do a lot of shirts. I have a line with Threadless, which is funny because right that time of like, okay, I finished school. I guess I'm going to freelance. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I was hustling to try to get a shirt on Threadless because it was like rent plus some cash. It was like $1,000. Never got it. Years later, then I get asked to do a line. So it makes me feel good, but I still wish I could have got this. Then they made a mural with my work, which I didn't know about, and I just saw a photo pop up online. So that happens sometimes, but it looks cool, and I got this high-res photo from Facebook. So I guess I win. I didn't sweat. I didn't have to do this, and it's really close to a lot of my characters. So that's awesome. But even more apparel. One of my favorite clients is in New York called New York Sunshine. And they're kind of like Saturday surf shop meets urban basketball culture. So we're really, I'll show you some more stuff here, talking into basketball stuff, which is awesome because that was the only thing that mattered to me at some point in my life. Look at my basketball. But it's fun to like move outside of doing just like a graphic for a shirt, and then you have a pattern that gets applied in so manner into the pocket. Or board shorts. Tote bags. But then you also have normal apparel. Now it's like moving every stuff on basketball. Guys, dreams come true. You have to be serious about not being serious, and your dreams will come true. In socks and a jersey, I don't have any of this yet. But anyway, so we're here for hot dogs. I have a lot of hot dogs in my work. It just happened. There's no reason. There's no Freudian slip here. It's just hot dogs are a funny shape. They're here for a good time. This was a shirt that I collaborated with a blog and publication called Sight Unseen. And they teamed up with Print All Over Me, which is an online, basically do your own fashion designer kind of thing. But I got to like, these are my snack pants. So I did a whole line of stuff. And I'm doing some more. Here are a lot of the pieces. This better than instead of okay. Who's it? Yeah, animated game of all the items of this first line. And then I got to do bean bags. Also another green country. So I love doing packs. It's one of my favorite things. Just get a kick out of that. And then I also really, really enjoy music. And that was one of the first interests. So the DJing thing, and then packaging, So I've done a lot for the Mississippi-based musician Ben May, some other Texas musicians. Here's some stuff I'm really proud about. Temporary tattoos with a bicep flexing that has his name in it. That's really cool. I got to do tape, which is tape on the label still exists. Put it in vinyl. And trying to capture the experience of music in a packaging. Then it's easier when you get to work with someone's photography that already seems very appropriate. It's more about pacing and adding appropriate lettering. This is for one of my favorite bands called Y. And Yoni Wolf, guy from Cincinnati, Ohio, lived over in Berkeley as well, they're back in Ohio. This was a concept album in which I think it was 8 people won the opportunity for the band to make a song about in concept. People take it, yeah, I got the book, the full train. Who's parent people know about the book? What? Yeah, okay. And then some merch based on some of the lyrics. So, kind of taking, I mean, his lyrics are already kind of surreal and playful, but then getting to like, we love a boy like Bugs Bunny and drag, and then getting Bugs Bunny and drag. It's fun because it's a cartoon. I always thought that was really cool. What's the movie that quotes? Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive? Bad movie. Okay, so music and posters. So I also have worked with Vitamin Water and Fader for their Uncapped series. So there's all these fun concerts with relevant musicians that I know some. We're playing in very strange, bizarre places in advertising world. Vitamin Water is turning these boring places into brilliant experiences. But it is cool that it's in an auto body shop. You like convey that it's a boring place, but once you have Vitamin Water, wow. You know? Same with a laundromat. But salons and laundromats seem very cool. I could see that as a music video. That seems appropriate. And then like a bed and breakfast. Yeah, it's boring, and then you just have Vitamin Water and like, awesome. I didn't get paid enough to say that. I don't know. And then this is cool. So there's an agency in LA that is rebranding basically Google Maps for marijuana dealers. It's on the West Coast. And I got to do over 100 illustrations that were like, I didn't know if they were icons or stickers or promotional material. This is their tagline, find the good stuff. The best part about all of this is I've never smoked weed, and I got paid to make weed drawings. But I've got original material. Ken Ripken Jr. Southern Hawk instead of Southern Hawk music label. You got the Seahawks smoking a joint. These dudes are best buds. Get buds. Get it. The needle is a bomb. I mean, it already looked, you know, it's like that would be. Bruce legalized. He's chill. He's kicking. He's chill. So there's like a ton of these. Snacks for days is another favorite. And some are a little bit more like what you would expect. This is another favorite, Sean Flynn. And I also do logos. I had to throw in like a slide of logos because I have a graphic design degree, so we look at these logos. But they're still within my realm. You know, I don't venture out and do these crisp. I wish. I can't. The old school guys have that secret body thing down. Or I just can't do it. I got this guy like wiggle. I can't do it. Some icons for Airbnb, which were fun. I had nothing to do with the logo. Zero to do with it. It does look like all the things that it said. But only if you see them. I would fully recommend trying group projects with food. You're in a great place where all these like, cool bars and restaurants are starting up. Like, I didn't get a lot of money up front, but I still get these energy bars sent to me, and they're delicious. And so there are these icons of the bearded brothers, but they really are bearded brothers. But they do wear beard nets when making these, like vegan wall, all this stuff. It's good. It's legal. But I do food. Sometimes you got to put faces on food. It's just you got to do that. This is like a Randos. It's a pop-up donut shop. You spin a wheel and get a random donut. And this is just like a donut family that you're not naming on. And then there's a huge time-based arts festival put on by the Portland Institute of Contemporary Art. So yeah, amazing. And I got to do, first it was like, oh cool, there's going to be a brand new promotion for this pop-up kitchen that'll be there during all of our events. And then, you know, you got pop-up kitchen, good stuff, anything goes, doggy style, smiling face with a hot dog. I mean, I was proud. But then that turned into full-on production of a pop-up kitchen, which is fun. I like to step away from drawing and clicking around on the mouse and sweat in the sun. It does get hot, if you know that it does. And build this thing with a bunch of awesome people and then see it come together at night. And so the concept is that each night, these really professional chefs, we had like an all-star roster of rotating chefs that came in each night and would do a gourmet hot dog. I don't remember the details about each one of these, but they were all very, very good. And they also sometimes had desserts. It's just fun to see all this stuff come together. And the kitchen staff was great. It was just neat to collaborate. So I often like to collaborate with other people. We'll see some more slides of other collaborators. Here's for a fashion label in Portland called Wild Fame. They had a tomboy line to celebrate their 1-year anniversary. And so it's insanely detailed, but there's all these like hidden nuggets that associate with the brand, kind of tell the story of their first year of existence. They're an extremely successful brand that went from probably going to get a storefront in 3 years, that got a storefront in 1 year. Really neat. But there's like hidden nuggets in here. You want to get to sign it, and I've already mentioned some people I don't like to sign anything. But it's had Will Bryant was here 2014 on the shirt. Pretty good. So the idea was like we'll do the shirt, and then it was a window install. So again, getting to work dimensionally. Hadn't happened a whole lot with the client work, but then more personal work. This was fun, just all the assortment of objects that tie back to that t-shirt, painted white, and then patterns were hand flying all. And then on the reverse side, so that's the front of the window you see from the street. And then on the other side, this is more like a photo booth engagement hashtag social units, where you can close in front. It was made this pattern again of those items repeated. Okay, we're keeping moving. Art stuff. So hold that thought. I do a lot of drawings. Sometimes they don't lead anything. This is part of a bigger show. I had a series of these. It's just a great way to kind of let loose without there being much of a concept at first. It's just exploring and weaving. This was layering, color indicating, or just like loose black and white drawings. It's just like on paper kind of thing. Sometimes I do prints. Again, hot dog. It shows up a lot. I've made medals that are like pathetic medals. I'll read them to you. Okay, almost. Pretty good. Nice try. Big deal. Honorable mention. Next to last. Not bad. This is part of an installation with that first drawing that I showed you, that you could actually embrace your failures and wear the medal in a photo. I also had trophies as part of that experience. That, you know, were there for pizza eating and sitting. Who wants to win a trophy for sitting? You guys all do right there. Sorry. You guys but grad school, we do weird stuff. So we have insane critiques that are really, really long. This is all in contemporary art context. They cared nothing about any kind of work they've ever done. So I hired, one time I was like, been making all these things, there's anything I don't want to do. Like acting out Black Swan in the shower, kind of deal. So I decided full print. This accompanied an essay, so it's like legit backed up. So I hired an improv actor to impersonate me and give presentations part of my and I never showed up to the thing. And it was like, it kind of just sounds like, okay, but it's like I thought and stressed and toiled over that more than anything, because I feel like I'd be disrespectful to the time. I'm paying for this experience. But I was critiquing the critique. Is the critique the format best suited for work? Okay, we're doing this. Go to the next one. This is getting too serious. Yeah, I can't do it. Oh man. So here's this is like my exiting show installation. It was a two-part installation. I sealed off the gallery and kind of made the storefront window, these weird sculptures. Some are fabricated by hand that I labored over. Some are fabricated by someone else and powder coated. Some are store-bought items. Kind of getting into that consumption and just buying stuff. The aesthetics of objects is what I was really fascinated with. So you might think of it, this looks like a storefront window. Cool, what's for sale on the inside? Nothing, more of the same. Kind of turning the gallery on the side of like, it is also a store. And these objects are what, like, this is what you're supposed to look at. It's on a clean white surface. This is the art. But they're kind of precariously stacked. There's some unusual touching going on, semi-inappropriate. Kind of looks like a play, like you just kind of, you know, without putting googly eyes on everything, trying to get like personality from these inanimate objects that I had a connection to. So I've also done still lifes that are doing the same things that like have attitude and have really stupid names. This one's Mom Spaghetti. This one's Going Ham. This is Bubble Butt. And also like playing with the field, scale, not knowing like what size these things are, but all kind of the same aesthetic value. Some other still life studies that I've done. But then those turn into drawings. Reference to sculptures. Like, oh, cool, that makes for a long name for a zine. Let's make a publication about drawings based on sculptures based on drawings. And the last one was just bought. I have it with me. This is a risograph zine printed by my friend Clay, who's in Chicago. Is anyone familiar with a risograph? Yeah, okay, cool. Education. Here we go. Risograph, older machine, you could probably swoop one up. Everyone run to a church after you leave here to get one of these machines because they're awesome. You get rich color, but it acts like a silk screen, but it looks like a Xerox machine. So it burns a film, same as like you burn a screen to your image, and prints those things in layers. You have some that print directly from a laptop or like from a computer, which is awesome. Others you like put in a black and white image from the top, like a Xerox. And you know, kind of follow it. Look at it. It's cool. There's a ton of presses in the US that are now in UK populating with kind of a resurgence. Kind of like vinyl. You know, just like a not a novelty, but really interesting way of producing things. Okay. We're going to keep going. Collaboration. You can learn a lot from other people. If you aren't good at something, find someone that is. Do a project with them. You kind of benefit, and hopefully you make something good together. So I do a lot of work with my friend Eric. This is us installing a show in LA together, wearing some of our sculptures. We've done some of these other various arrangements with objects, playing up the aesthetics of things. Sometimes they're more refined. Sometimes we've got to turn up the dial and just let it all out. So a lot of these are powder coated steel that he's fabricated. Sometimes there's balloons in there, other things that are bought, all kind of on the equal playing field. Here's another loading version. We've also made furniture together. I decided it would be a good idea to screen print myself huge sheets of canvas. This is long. Really fun, awesome challenge. It was a vacuum table, but it didn't sell. You know, I'm not what I've been doing. That's a good way to learn. Do it all wrong. But here's some more shots of that chair. It's like a lounge chair that's reversible. A show called Staycation. So you want to make these objects that are super comfortable. You don't want to leave your house. You know, you just want to stay and have a vacation in your house. So it's like outside, inside kind of thing. Look at this beautiful grid on the back. You can see how you get tired of the blue, flip it over to the camera. And then I've also started doing more set design, working on photo shoots. This is a collaboration with my friend Nicole, and had like tall, skinny, beautiful girls wear a bunch of wacky stuff that I've made, other things that kind of fit with that turned into these beautiful images. She was perfect for the show. She was good too, but like more serious. She was goofy. I didn't put the hot dog for her. I'm sorry, guys. It's not enough hot dogs. I apologize. Here's some more shots. It's kind of showcasing some of the things I've already made. This one's really good. Look at the hot dog person. Next fall, hot dog person in the area. You know who? It was Kristen mostly. So these were fun. Okay, enough of the wacky stuff. How do you get work? Right? People want to know that. Whether you're working or not working, best thing to do is make work. Make the work that you want to make. Make a lot of that work until you're tired of it and move on to something else. Make and make and make. And then you have to find your voice through making all of it. You're making a pile of work. Things start coming together. What do you like? Why are you into it? Just explore that through self-initiated projects. I'm giving you permission to do whatever it is you haven't been wanting to do. You need to do it. It's fulfilling, but then also it gets you to the next thing. So you have a day job, do that stuff at night. And then you have to share it. These things share really well. You can go to stuff like this. I mean, you have so many resources in this amazing community. Free events, free hot dogs to go and meet people that are making things. You can start a collective. There's also the internet. Internet's really helpful. And then just putting yourself out there. That in-person thing is really important. I show up to things. Sometimes I put on my sweatpants and I don't leave. The sweatpants, don't put on sweatpants unless you freaking stay at the house, because it's a total commitment to the house. There's no way around it. No way around it. And then be nice. There are plenty of a-holes out there making work better than you. So if you're nicer than them, someone's going to want to work with you. Because they're like a pain to do it. Seriously. I mean, if you're doing any kind of customer service, if you're doing creative services, like, it's common sense, but if you're a turd in a bad way, it's not going to work out. Someday it's going to burn real bad. And this can be taken out of context. That goes back to the being nice. I'm not telling you need to change who you are, because I want you to be whatever you are, whatever you're into. Stay that. But really focus on you. You're super shy. Start venturing out into the world and like maybe talking to people, approaching that creative that makes the work that you want to be making. Don't do a long LinkedIn because that it bums the person out. It's like email's an obligation already, but you make it short, quick. Way to go. Okay. Almost there. How are we on time? No, boring. When are the brownies coming out? What happened to the cookie? So you need sugar right now. This is like a night class. Okay, parting words. Parting words. We can wrap this up. There's a few like quippy sayings that I'll throw at you. Stay positive and remain curious. If you're quick to boredom, it's really good. Because then you just like move through all these different things. You get sick of what you're doing, you try something else. That's good. There's also something about having an attention span that goes opposite of that, which also is very valuable. But if it bums you out, hang in there. It'll be worth it. A warning, I've known when showing this photo. Could be your warning. There you are. You got to face adversity. You know, you could lose some teeth, fall on the concrete, lose some teeth, big deal. Pay a bunch of money for this insurance to cover it, it's cosmetic. Have you tried any sandwich? Not cosmetic. Or you could cheer for a stellar SEC school your entire life and kind of get some kind of sadistic pleasure out of that. Those are choices you can make. You have to deal with. You know what? That's about getting some experience. You just got to live a little. So then you start making work about these things that you encounter. But ultimately, work occasionally, mostly chill. Is there any questions? Sure, I'm not even taking a hot dog. Any questions? You want to know why how I lost my teeth, right? Yeah, is that the thing? It's not cool. I would think I would rehearse the way my wife was getting mugged, and I knocked it out. The other guy, way worse than me. No. I started a boot camp with those public school guys. And it was the first day. It was actually cold in Austin. We did some like basic stuff. And whoo, look at my butt, not in shape. Sat down. Cool, we're good. Gonna go again. Stood up. Body went into that. Just passed out. So my face just hits. So I kind of fold over. And that's why you have these scrapes, because you fold over and then your body's got to lay all the way out. So the teeth didn't like fall out, they just shattered and gross. It was like several surgeries, gum grafts, all that cool stuff.
Yeah, question from online.
Yeah.
How your collaborations? How often do you travel to collaborate? And how often do you do it?
Ooh. That's a good question. You can stretch that word collaborate because it's like a letter of the brand. You don't have to be there often, monthly, or something like that. To quickly answer the question, as often as possible, because sometimes those things aren't paid, but they're fulfilling and they can also get work. But that comes back to the self-initiated project. So as often as it makes sense. So when I'm working right now on a new photo shoot with Brenda Mixed Jewelry, and it's amazing. It's Kayla Matz, I can show a photo. I have it in the presentation. Cool. Yeah.
This one calls you Kobayashi. They want to know how many hot dogs.
No, I don't drink them. No,
You can draw a lot.
I can draw more than I can eat. That just doesn't sound like I appreciate the question. I just don't want to do a lot of cookies and it. Yes.
I know becoming a father is very trying, and you have to grow a lot in that process, but as being an artist and working with yourself, what was the most trying experience you had that came out, and that's a great accomplishment, which you felt very proud of?
Recent, what, in regards to being a father? It's like, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know my fatherhood.
Okay, cool.
As awesome as it might be, but personally.
I was confused. I got excited.
I mean, when we talk about your kid, actually, we love it, but personally, being an artist, a lot of times working with clients, in general, you get the sheer limits in which how much you would need it, but also fulfill the things.
Sure.
So, in what respect to that, so far, not being still feeling like going that far with the project, really not pushing to be there.
Yeah. I think that fashion shoot is a good example of Nicole approached me and was like, I want to do something. Let's dig all the weird objects out of her basement and shoot. But I hadn't really ever done that before, and not knowing how it would go and the personalities were coming together. Ended up being very fulfilling as far as how we're working with images turned out. I think any project ends up, even if it's a bummer, you find fulfillment in being done. Sometimes, especially client work, it's like, okay, grad school, distinctly, this is client work. What do you need to do? I think this is what you should do. Okay, it changed a little bit. This is what's going to be done. Let's do it. Awesome. Next thing, that's fulfilling. Being complete.
Do you find that going outside of your comfort zone really pushes you to try to design?
Absolutely. Experimenting with media, hanging around Eric, like, I'm going to clang these metal pieces together. He's going to go like that. I'm like, yeah, crazy, awesome. Now it's like sand it down, get it powder coated. Those kind of things, you just start thinking in a different way. Grad school taught me to think in a different way. Working in different mediums just stretches you outside of that. Which there are plenty of people that are just going to teach themselves how to do something and learn that way. I just like hanging out with people. I don't want to go into some artist cave and come out like, look, this is what I did. I just I don't eat that up. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Favorite basketball player currently in the league?
Currently, ooh.
Is that the one you say Golden?
Yeah. I have a, can I name several?
Names are, yeah.
I'm good with a lot on Derek Rose this year. I want that guy to have such a good season. He deserves it. People will give him crap like he wants to be injured. Come on. He wants to play basketball. He loves his mom. He wants to play basketball. In those same lines, Kevin Durant. I really enjoy watching Russell Westbrook, even though it's like, is this going to be a train wreck? Or is this going to be like a fireworks show? You know, what's in it? Like, I like that. Who else? I feel like there's some in this class that might be pretty exciting to watch.
Who's that kid? Damian?
Lillard?
Yeah, from
Love. Yeah, that's a fun, scrappy team to watch. They're finding some good role players. Yeah. They won't do that. Here's it serious. Well, thank you for basketball.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who's on your like your dream list of collaborations that you haven't done to?
Patagonia. I'm trying to think. I've seen watercolor too. I need to have this down. I used to have it. Thankfully, I've worked with some of those. So I worked with Nike, a lot of women's and some men's shirts, but I haven't done Nike basketball. When I get to do something non-illustration, maybe Nike basketball install at a city store somewhere, or something. But that would be awesome. I feel like there's some weird faction label that I would like to do. Yeah. Don't know. I should just, yeah. Lazy Oak. I like Lazy Oak. Just did, we've done like a lot of comic-based things. I did a Garfield one. Super fun. Yeah. Cool.
Favorite color? Why?
Favorite what?
Favorite color?
Color?
Yeah.
A teal.
And why?
And why? It's not blue or green. I have a great image of all of the teal things, not all of them, but several teal things, including some for my baby, called Teal Daddy Still Life. And you can see some of those things from like Nike Elite socks to some shorts to a water bottle to pacifiers. Anyone else? Before I do a shameless plug. Plug. Cool. So over here we have a merch Feed My Baby booth, which includes some T-shirts, limited sizing, a few zines. These are one-off silkscreen prints on coated canvas that are prominent. We have the event poster that's available. It's only $10. Original drawings, they're either $25 or $40. And then archival prints. That is over there. And then the other thing, no, there's more. There's always more. You get to do a free live print of a hot dog playing basketball. So it'll be letterpress and silkscreen. Cool. Guys, thank you for your time. It's very good.
So like Will said, the live print, this is Will's art. It's a free live print tonight. It's going to start on the letterpress, and it's going to move to silkscreen. So if you guys want to do that, you might want to come around this way. Come see Elizabeth. Elizabeth will be over here. She'll have a mom sauce apron. Start there, move to the paper next. There are cupcakes. There are warm drinks. Visit the merch table. Will's SUV is up for things. Thank you. Let's go live. You're live on the World Wide Web. What do you want to say, Devin?
Yeah.
Got Purple Rock Scissors in the house. Say what up.
We need more lighting.
We can turn on the lights. Huh? What's that? Yeah, we can turn those on. This one. Turn that on. What up? This on? There we go. Now it's more lights. It's more light kicking. Hey! Hot dog cam. Yo, happy birthday, Joey! Hey! How y'all doing? Oh, we're just sharing you all with the internet. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hangout. Excuse me real quick. If you're still watching. I know it's dark in here. I don't even know where the light switches are yet. Hang tight. I will find the light switch. Maybe. Hello? Hey Joey, how do I turn the lights on here? Joe, how do I turn the lights on in there? More breaker lights?
All the way. Up there.
That way?
To the left. Yep. Nope.
No, that's not it.
Wait.
No,
I don't know why you were standing in this.
Can we see your print, please? Okay, have you ever... Okay, cool. Can you talk me through it? It's, just eat some mustard. Go. Let's see how you did. Oh, true champions. Bye. See y'all.